If everybody...
That's all we got there. I just feel like it's your machine.
Check. Okay, there we go. If everybody could gather around who's here for Mr. Paul, you could all gather around. We just want to thank everybody for coming out today so that we could celebrate Mr. Paul. We are so happy that we could get all parts of the community coming together to show their love, and that's what is important. What we're trying to do is to make sure that we continue to build community and that we celebrate and love on our neighbors. So we are so happy to have all these people out here to celebrate the life of Mr. Paul. I want to go ahead and pass it off to my husband, who is the founder of, to Des.
Hey everybody, so thank you for coming. We got to make sure we know all our neighbors' names. We don't want anybody to go unnoticed. We want everyone to know that if they were to no longer be on this block, we notice, we take notice. If no one else did, we miss their face, we miss their presence, and that we're doing our best to make sure they don't go down as a Jane Doe, which Agatha and Melanie have done a great job of ensuring. So here's to Mr. Paul Jones, Mr. Marvin Paul Jones, and all he's added. Here's to this community. Here's to everybody standing up for everybody, housed and unhoused. We're all here to help each other. We're all here to love each other, and we're all here to be what we're supposed to be, and that's one big one. So thank y'all. Hope the community really. I think this is going to make an impact as we walk up and down this block. I think this is going to be a great gesture to show that we're seriously here for y'all. And so here we are. So thank you everybody for coming.
Some people might want to say.
Anybody have a little story for Mr. Paul, Melanie?
I can say a few things about Mr. Paul. Is the microphone working?
I don't know.
You have to.
Just project, Melanie.
And you have to do it directly. It's like one of those.
Like talk like
Okay.
this.
There you go.
So does it?
Just take your mask off. You're good. We'll distance.
Well, you know, I had heard about Mr. Paul through Free 99 Fridge and immediately recognized him the first time I came. I had heard that, you know, his favorite was apricot jam and peanut butter sandwiches. So I was so proud. I got him some apricot jam and we decorated him a little lunch bag full of goodies, and I pull up and I'm like, "Are you Mr. Paul?" And he was like, "Don't call me Mr. That is reserved for people who are in the nursing home on their last leg, and that ain't me." And I said, "Well, I heard you like apricot jam." He said, "I am so sick of that crap. I've had too many of those." And so the joke was on me, but what I did get to know is that he had a big heart, a big soul. He loved to chat it up. He loved to talk about the world. He loved making people smile. He touched our hearts every day. You know, if he wasn't talking to me about Elvis, it was John Wayne or God. And I think he proposed to everybody out here.
Yes.
I have three. Three? So he proposed to me the day I met him, and he proposed to me every day I saw him. And he asked me, I said I had to talk to my husband about it, but he asked me if I believed there was a heaven. And I said, "I sure hope so." And he said, "Well, I'm gonna live to 157, but I hope to meet you on the other side. Maybe we can get married then."
Okay.
And I said, "Yeah, we will, baby, we will."
Okay.
And so, my promise, I think Mr. and Mrs. Paul sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
But now we know Paul's full name, Marvin Paul Jones. So he's not gonna go down now as a John Doe in the hospital. His name will be attached to who he is. He mattered, we all mattered, this community matters, and we're better because of him. That's it. Yeah, thank you guys for being here.
I didn't trust myself to very eloquently sort of speak to how I feel, so I have a poem. I hope you all will indulge me. But I will say that I didn't know Mr. Paul for very long, just a few months, but he impacted my life in a beautiful way. I remember this one afternoon, we were sitting right there on the sidewalk. I used to just kind of, when he was sitting here and, you know, maybe a little crotchety like he is, I would pull over one of those crates and just sit and talk to him. And like Melanie was saying, just chatting about old movies. And he would always make requests of something that he wanted me to cook for him. And I would say, sure, I'll make you some rice and peas. He's like, when you gonna bring it? Tomorrow? What time? So it was always great. And I was like, I'll bring it to you, Mr. Paul. And there was one time I drove around with a cooler with rice pudding for like 5 days, just waiting to catch him because he was hiding somewhere. So yeah, I'm gonna keep making that rice pudding for our community here, just in his honor. But if somebody could hold my balloon, and I will. Oh no, it's attached to me. I'm good. Oh, okay. So this is a poem by Audre Lorde. She's a Black feminist, civil rights activist poet. Grew up in Harlem, and it's titled A Litany for Survival. For those of us who live at the shoreline, standing upon the constant edges of decision, crucial and alone. For those of us who cannot indulge the passing dreams of choice, who love in doorways coming and going, in the hours between dawns, looking inward and outward, at once before and after, seeking a now that can breed futures like bread in our children's mouths, so their dreams will not reflect the death of ours. For those of us who are imprinted with fear, like a faint line in the center of our foreheads, learning to be afraid with our mother's milk, for by this weapon, this illusion of some safety to be found, the heavy-footed hope to silence us. For all of us, this instant and this triumph, we were never meant to survive. And when the sun rises, we are afraid it might not remain. When the sun sets, we are afraid it might not rise in the morning. When our stomachs are full, we're afraid of indigestion. When our stomachs are empty, we are afraid we may never eat again. When we are loved, we're afraid love will vanish. When we're alone, we're afraid love will never return. And when we speak, we are afraid our words will not be heard nor welcomed. But when we are silent, we're still afraid. So it is better to speak, remembering we were never meant to survive. Rest in peace, dear friend, Marvin Paul Jones.
Hello. How y'all doing today?
Yeah.
You know, I came acquainted with death when I was young. So I tend to look at it a little bit different. Those people, they never leave. Their memories remain inside of each and every last one of us, and that is the only place that things really matter at. The inside of it. They have us believing that the dead body is the end. But in reality, it's only the beginning. Because that's when people are truly celebrated. When you realize the light and the gift that they brought into this world. All the greatest people weren't celebrated until after they were gone. Well, we'll say a lot of them. Especially here in America. So, my boy Paul, man, he knew what time it was. He was a real down-to-earth type of individual, you know. He laughed with everyone. He might always had something smart and honorable to say, but you knew deep down inside that that was just them showing love. Peace up.
There we go. Celebrate.
Celebrate, right? Peace up to the king, man. Hey, somebody come pop me an OE for my boy, man.
Yeah, we did.
That's what my boy.
Pour it out for him.
That's what my boy wrote. He couldn't wait to get one of these up in him, huh? That's what Paul couldn't wait for.
We are the Atlanta Ol Skool Drummers. Atlanta Ol Skool Drummers. We were in this lot last week doing the filming, and we've been invited back out to celebrate the life of a man that no one here knows, but we showed up to honor him. And we want to pay much respect to all of those unknown people who have gone on without nobody to care for them. And we want to also make sure we support the causes of feeding the people and taking care of the people. We salute you all for what you're doing in this community. We wanted to give him a tribute, and we're going to pause in the middle of this one, and we're going to just simply say, fired up, Mr. Paul, fired up, hey. Okay. All right. Share. Down the street.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We'll get behind.
Y'all get in front.
Yeah, to the other side of the balloon.
Oh, y'all want us in front?
We'd love to do the fire.
Okay. Because I don't know the route, so.
How about y'all?
Oh, the
Baby, girl, just this way, right?
Yeah, we're going to go down Edgewood. We're going to go for it. We're going down to the hill here and back.
Yeah, okay.
And out. got. Everybody will be all right. Maybe we should go away with traffic. Maybe we should stop. At least.
We ain't done here. I did that up.
What did they? You got 19 in front of you.
Woo, boy, y'all did some work down there. You're proud of that. Make sure y'all follow us on Instagram, AOS Drums. AOS Drums. We don't even have 1,000 followers yet, but we've been everywhere.
Well, after today.
Thank you all. Thanks for inviting us.
Thank you.
We'll be back soon.